Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Terry Burnett, founder and executive director of the Women's Nonprofit Alliance, and we are all about strengthening and sustaining world-changing women and the causes they champion. So some of you may know that we are a membership-based organization. That is how we are funded. And today we have one of our members to talk to. Her name is Hughes with Caregiver Consulting of Dallas. And I'm so thrilled to have Dieta. Thank you for joining us, Dieta.
Terry, thank you for having me today. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited you're here because this topic is really important, especially for our day and age and our world today, because you're all about what your mission is about serving the seniors and caregivers, right? And to provide services, resources. You're going to go into that in just a minute. A lot of us, well, if we're not seniors or caregivers at this moment, we're going to be, correct? One of those categories. So it's for all of us to listen to, and you're a great resource for that. I think those who are listening are going to be interested in how you can help them, maybe as a caregiver, maybe as a senior, and some ways that they can utilize your nonprofit. So let me ask you first, what made you want to start your nonprofit and serve this particular group?
Yes. So, I've been a caregiver for over 20 years. I've taken care of my parents and my in-laws, and I am now a caregiver for my sister who is confined to a wheelchair. I did not think when I retired that this would be what I did full time, but honestly, God laid it on my heart and tapped me on the shoulder one day at church and said, you need to take care of the caregivers and the seniors in your church, basically. And I was pretty sure he wasn't talking to me, but he was. And so I was obedient, and it is something that he laid on my heart, and it is, I am so passionate about this.
Well, it shows. So tell me a little bit more about the services that you provide through your nonprofit.
Sure. So I work with families and also seniors to help them kind of through the journey of caregiving. And it's anything from helping them through the Medicaid process or understanding Medicare or their VA benefits. Sometimes it's helping them find a perfect place for them to live. Sometimes it's working through the family dynamics that come up, when you're taking care of a parent and trying to make some of these really hard decisions. Another thing that I am very interested about helping seniors and caregivers is through education. So I spend part of my time in churches just really educating the congregation on the resources available to caregivers.
Okay. Wow, that's good stuff. So we recently gave away a grant in our nonprofit, and we gave it away to two recipients, and you were one of those recipients. So we're excited to be able to award you that. And besides the money, now I know that, of course, that's what you were in it for, was the money. I want to know kind of through the process that you went through with our grant application process. What did you learn or get out of it that will help you along the way?
So Terry, I don't know if you know this, but this was my first grant application.
So, I did not know that. I'm glad that we were your first. I feel honored.
You were my first, and I have to tell you, I have heard all kinds of stories about applying for grants and how hard they are to get and how much time they take. And I will tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. It was such an easy process. I answered 4 questions, and they asked things that were just, I was ready to tell because it was about my nonprofit. And then they asked for just kind of a story of maybe a client that I had helped. And I had recently helped a client, and so it was really close to my heart, and so it was something easy for me to put on paper. And so it was probably the easiest process I've ever done. And to tell you the truth, I did it, and then I didn't think anything much about it until you called and said that I was one of the finalists. And so I was so surprised to be one of the finalists and so excited about that. So,
well, I am glad. Well, so once you went through it and got a little feedback about how you did on the application process as far as in your presentation and your writing, what did you learn from that?
Well, thank you for giving me the feedback. because this will help me as I begin to apply for additional grants. And the feedback that I was given was, how do I impact people with my nonprofit, and how many people can I impact? And so that has really given me a lot to think about. During the grant process, I was really thinking of the ones that I do one-on-one, hands-on, help them find a place to live, help them with their Medicaid application. But I didn't stop to realize all the families and caregivers that I touch when I do the education piece. And I may, be in a church and I may speak to, 50 or 100 people about, the education piece of caregiving. So that was huge to me that I did not include that in the interview. So that was so incredibly helpful, and I will know to do that next time.
Well, and that sometimes the lessons we learn about what we don't do are just as helpful as, what we do. So I know that some people watching may be wanting to apply for a grant, and that's what you learn, is that the impact matters, and to be able to clearly tell that impact is important on a grant application. So, but congratulations for being one of our finalists, and I know that money is going to be well spent, well used. So I also know congratulations in order for you retiring recently from your other nonprofit work that you were doing, so that you can focus on Caregiver Consulting of Dallas. So tell me a little bit about that, what this transition is going to look like for you, and how you're going to spend your time now.
Wow. Well, I'm going to hopefully be able to do more of the same, which is helping caregivers and seniors find their way through this journey. I am anxiously looking for a partner, someone that I can brainstorm with and literally take this to the next step. I've been doing this for a little over 4 years by myself and working. So really my days right now are spent doing much more research and putting together my marketing material and using some of the resources that I've not been able to use with the Women's Nonprofit Alliance. I realize how many resources there are, and so I'm excited to be able to tap into some of those, from the coaching to some of the other series that you all have that I've not really been able to have the time to do. So I'm looking forward to that. And so there are so many things in the education piece. I'm looking forward to expanding that into additional churches. As a matter of fact, this afternoon, I was just kind of fine-tuning my PowerPoint presentation. So.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for bringing up some of the things that we do and how we've helped you. I appreciate that. We're here for that, and we love that. That is our mission. That is what we do. So share one story. You said in the grant writing that you had to share a story. It doesn't have to be that one, but can you share a success story, somebody that you've helped?
Sure. There was a family I recently helped. It was Paul and Jane and their daughter. And the daughter was really the main person taking care of her parents. And they were in a situation where the parents were living with their brother. And Paul was not doing very well and kept falling, and they were having to call an ambulance and so on and so forth. So we decided it was probably a good idea to start looking for somewhere else for them to live that was a little bit safer for Paul and for his wife, Jane. And before we could actually get that going, Paul fell, broke his hip, had to go into rehab, and he was in rehab for a couple of months. But during that time, we started looking at different communities that could accommodate both Jane and Paul. And it had to be a community that would allow for a motorized wheelchair, and that would have a smoking area, which is hard to find in independent living for Paul, and that would fit within their budget. And those things were really hard, and that was in a community close to their kids. So anyway, after quite a bit of research, I found a property for them, and I had worked with this particular community and had a really good relationship, and they were able to work with me on the monthly rent for Jane and Paul. And so we were able to move them in there after Paul got out of rehab. I was able to locate not only one motorized wheelchair, but two, one for him to have at home and one for him to have at his church when he got to church on Sundays. And they are just happy as clams. They are so active in their community. He loves to preach on Wednesday nights in his community, and they are just thriving. So, that's one of my favorite stories.
Wow. Wow. I mean, you just so improved his quality of life. That is a great story. I love hearing that. I love what you're doing, Deanna. I love your nonprofit. It's so helpful. I've had to, as one who's been a caregiver to my mom to some degree, and helping and moving more into that role, and as a senior, I'm glad to know that that you're out there, because you are a really great resource for a lot of people. Tell people how they can find you. How if somebody wanted to connect with you, how would they do that?
Sure, just go to my website. It's caregiverconsultingdallas.com. Said that kind of fast, so let me say it again. It's caregiverconsultingdallas.com. And you can reach out to me. I've got my number and my email address.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So
all right.
Everything you need there.
Yeah, good. Okay, well, thank you, Deanna. This has been, just a great opportunity to visit with you and share you with others who are listening today. So if you have a passion on your heart, those of you who are listening, and you don't know where to start, well, that's what we're here for, to put you on the path to fulfilling the mission that God has for your life. So look us up, give us a call, keep watching for future YouTubes. We have testimonials in the news spots that are coming up, some how-tos, and some more great testimonies from people like Deanna, who are truly changing the world that she's in. So thanks for listening, and we hope to see you soon. Bye. All right. Let me stop. Yes.